those who are in South Africa who know me in particular, they will know that during the period that I was the president of this country, there were very clear things that I did. And indeed, it was as a result of what I was doing that some people thought I should move off even before finishing my term. But things have gone wrong, in my view, from the organization that I lived for a long time. I reached a point where I could not tolerate it. And I decided to establish a political party so that I can fulfill the desires of the poor, the oppressed, the ones who are suffering.
Jacob Zuma, South Africa's most controversial and polarizing political figure, is back on a mission. He claims his presidency was cut short before he could complete a transformative agenda that he believes could have changed the lives of millions of marginalized South Africans. Through the newly formed Mkhonto We Sizwe Party, or MKP, Zuma says he wants to finish what he started, an agenda focused on radical economic transformation, wealth redistribution, and addressing the deep inequalities that continue to haunt South Africa. What Zuma started as president? As president, Jacob Zuma championed several transformative policies, such as the following. 1. Radical economic transformation. This included bold proposals like land expropriation without compensation and state-owned enterprises designed to shift wealth and economic power to Black South Africans. 2. Caterpillar Pharmaceutical Project, aimed at producing affordable ARVs locally and reducing reliance on imports. This initiative promised to benefit millions suffering from HIV/AIDS, predominantly Black South Africans. 3. Infrastructure development. From roads to energy projects, Zuma's administration invested in building the foundation for a more inclusive economy. 4. Health and education reform. Projects like National Health Insurance aimed to close the gap in healthcare access for the poor. But while his supporters see these efforts as groundbreaking, his critics take a much harsher view. Many label his time in office as Zuma's 9 wasted years, claiming he failed to deliver real liberation for the marginalized communities he now claims to be fighting for. One critic said, for 9 years, Jacob Zuma was president, yet the conditions for the poor didn't improve. Why should we trust him now? Why Zuma was removed? In 2018, Jacob Zuma was forced to resign amid mounting pressure. His critics cited scandals like Nkandla and his ties to the Gupta family. But his supporters tell a different story. They argue that the real reason Zuma was ousted wasn't corruption, but his threat to the economic privileges of white monopoly capital, the powerful elites who control much of South Africa's wealth and media. They didn't want transformation. They removed me because I wanted to change the lives of ordinary South Africans, Zuma always alleges. The role of media and white monopoly capital. Supporters claim that South Africa's media, owned and influenced by powerful economic interests, played a critical role in shaping public perception. They argue that Zuma's policies, like Caterpillar and land reform, threatened these interests, leading to a coordinated campaign to remove him. Even the Zondo Commission, tasked with investigating state capture, found no direct evidence implicating Zuma in corruption. For his supporters, this is a proof that the allegations against him were politically motivated.
And we're told it was done by the Guptas. It was never done by the Guptas. Guptas have never captured the state. It's a lie. There were 3 Gupta brothers. The state is huge. The national government has 1.8 trillion rands in expenditure every year. The SOE is probably another trillion rands. The municipalities as well, another trillion rands. You look at the benefit that goes to white business in the state. The state has always been captured by white business. The Guptas were contesting white business, and we never saw what was going on, that it was a war between two parties that want to monopolize the state at our exclusion. And we remain excluded even today. In fact, I could argue that it's worse off in that some of those SOEs we rely on.
You were vocal against the former president and wanting to see him removed from office. I mean, we saw corporates getting together, starting something like the Save South Africa or Save SA. We saw them very, very vocal, very much so out in the streets, marching against Zuma, saying that Zuma must fall. Then, of course, we saw that your company, Signia, was one of the funders of the CR17 campaign. So there was a great movement at that time to get rid of former President Jacob Zuma. Here we are, sitting with the now incumbent President Cyril Ramaphosa, who unfortunately you did assist to get to this position, and it looks like it's worse. Do you regret what you did?
It's a very difficult question to answer, because at the time we did what we thought was the right thing to do. Signia was very supportive of our staff marching in the streets. We clearly were very, very vocal about what was happening, and we truly had a lot of hope for the future of South Africa and hope for change. With hindsight, I was wrong. I was wrong to support the people I supported. I was wrong to believe. But we are human beings. We, by nature, are positive. And who could have envisaged?
MKP, a second chance for transformation. Now, Zuma is a new mission. Through the Mkhonto We Sizwe Party, he plans to achieve what he couldn't as president: radical economic transformation. His goal: to win a two-thirds majority in the next election, change the constitution, and implement policies that redistribute land, wealth, and opportunity to the poor and marginalized. But critics question whether this is genuinely about the poor or about Zuma's own legacy. After all, if he couldn't achieve these changes during his 9 years in office, how will he do it now?
Countrymen, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much for your attention. Ngiyabonga, ngiyalebucha. Bayadanki. Thank you. We'll meet someone.
First and foremost, I'm grateful on behalf of the entire leadership of the MK Party. I am grateful to President Zuma, whose idea it was that the MK Party must be started in the first place. The MK Party was founded because the ANC, in our shared views, a collective view which we share as the MK Party, has completely gone astray. This is not the ANC that we used to know, particularly over the past 5 years under the leadership of Cyril Ramaphosa. This is no longer the ANC which fights for poor people, which fights for landless people. It is a different ANC altogether.
I just established a political party to contest to other parties. And I had very serious reason why I did so. Firstly, I think it is important to take into account that I am a politician. Not just politicians by loving it or being whatever. I am a politician. I think politics. I plan politics, strategy, tactics, and everything. So it's not a small matter. And I would not have tried it if I knew it was not going to work. I did so because I knew it well, for a variety of reasons, that one day when I write my book, I will tell a full story and what happened, etc. Firstly, I come from the freedom fighting kind of grouping. I fought for my freedom in this country, for freedom of black people. And in the process of all of that, in fact, I could even go back. That if you know, the last battle of black and white ended here at Inkandla. The last one, the Bambata Rebellion, which changed the thinking of how do we fight for our struggle. That's what led to the establishment of politics in South Africa from the black people in particular. And the stories about that war were told here by older people, how ruthless the British were in the camps that were putting people and what they were doing to them. That is where my what you call it, the first things that put me into politics. So getting into politics was not just because I love politics. It was because of what had happened to a black person in this country that made me to join the struggle at my young age, to fight for the liberation or freedom of black people. It is in my blood, it is in my vein, it is in my marrow. It's not a joke. I'm not doing it because I want to make money. I don't want to do it because I just want to do good. It is a very genuine desire to liberate a black person. And that will take you back to slavery. That I think about what has been done to black people. The most devastating behavior towards them. And therefore, to me, if I go to the struggle, it's not because I love it, it's because I want to change the lives of people. So it is a serious matter. As a freedom fighter, I am determined to live my remaining years of life without any fear of oppression from the very institutions that I dedicated my life to establish, so that everyone living in our country has a guaranteed freedom. It is important to remember that the whole society was mobilized against me, and for the first time in the country's history, some people came out in their numbers to march saying, Zuma must go. I'm sure you remember that. Even old people were on the streets saying, Zuma must go, Zuma must go. Books were written, misleading documentaries were made, and comrades were turned into enemies under the illusion of some new idea called state capture. Very funny something.
The road ahead for Jacob Zuma and the MKP is not an easy one. Can he overcome the label of 9 wasted years and convince South Africans he is the leader they need? Will his controversial legacy and the allegations of corruption overshadow his promises of transformation? And even if the MKP gain traction, can Zuma implement these radical policies without destabilizing the economy? What ordinary South Africans are saying: I think Zuma has good intentions, but I'm not sure if MKP can fix everything. We need change. Maybe Zuma deserves another chance to finish what he started. Jacob Zuma's return to the political stage is a bold move. For some, it's a chance to reignite the promise of transformation. For others, it's a reminder of the controversies of the past. One thing is clear: South Africa's fight for equality and justice is far from over. Will MKP be the key to unlocking a new era, or will it become another footnote in the country's turbulent political history? Only time will tell. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Inkari. It's time for more insights into South Africa's politics and the stories shaping our future. Thanks for watching and take care.